and today I'll discuss the last topic of our unit, that is tacho generator. So after this we'll start unit 2. So tacho generator is an electromechanical device which produces an output voltage proportional to its shaft speed. So in fact they are also termed as tachometer. So you might have seen this where you may have tested speed, or you may have recorded speed in electrical machine lab, or in places where motors are being used, or where you require to measure the speed of, let's say, a turbine or any shaft connected to rotating device. So tachometers or tacho generator are used or employed to measure speeds of such devices, and they, when connected to the rotating shaft or motor, will produce an output voltage which is proportional to the shaft speed. And there are two types. One is the DC tacho generator, the other is AC tacho generator. So as the name suggests, you will be employing the voltages from these in the form of DC or AC. So shown the figure below shows the two types of tacho generator. First is the DC, where what you do is you provide an input in the form of angular velocity theta dot. So shown over here is theta dot, which is nothing but the angular velocity given to the shaft of the rotor of this device. So this in turn produces an output voltage. In fact, this voltage is being induced because of rotation of the rotor, and this voltage is proportional to the angular velocity with which the shaft rotates or the rotor rotates. So if you see the schematic of this DC tacho generator, this resembles a DC motor or generator. So in fact this is nothing more than a DC motor or generator, DC machine, where you will be having the same type of stator with fields and armature, commutator, brush assembly. So shown over here are brushes. The terminals are connected to the brushes, which will be further connected to commutator inside the machine. So what you're doing here is you're trying to generate voltage which is proportional to angular velocity. Similarly, you have AC tacho generator, where what you do is you are going to employ two-phase windings. So you're going to employ two windings which will be at a location. Now hold a second please. मैं बस अभी भेज रहा हूँ 10 मिनट में, ज़रा सा लेक्चर मेरा स्टार्ट हो गया तो मैं 10 मिनट 15 मिनट में भेज रहा हूँ. So what you're going to use in case of AC tacho generator is you will be having two-phase windings, very similar to servo motors or two-phase induction motor that you had been studying. And in AC tacho generator, what you do is you provide AC supply to the reference winding. So main winding is being supplied with an AC supply, while the other is left without any supply. So you are not going to give any supply to the other winding. What you're going to do is, when in the presence of this AC supply given to reference winding, which will be producing its flux, the rotor is allowed to rotate through some external means. So since you're going to provide an input in the form of angular velocity to this rotor with an external input and an AC supply given to reference winding or the main winding will induce a voltage in the output winding. So we'll call this as output winding, which was referred to as control winding in case of servo motors, AC servo motors or two-phase induction motor. So now we'll be referring this as output winding. So what is happening here is, when you give supply to the reference winding, which will be producing flux, this flux interacts with the rotor, and when you allow this rotor to move, whenever this rotor moves, this process will cause induction of voltage EM in the output winding, which is further fed to the demodulator, where modulation is performed, and the output is being generated, which will be proportional to the speed at which the rotor shaft rotates. So we talk about DC tacho generator. It has a permanent magnet field stator, armature, commutator and brush assembly, similar to a DC motor. So shown over here is the schematic of a, in fact this is nothing but a DC motor shown in an elongated fashion. So you have armature, then you have commutators, the brush and the field, which is a permanent magnet type, and you have a shaft that connects to the equipment or the motor or the turbine, whichever you require to measure the speed of. So the rotor is connected to the shaft, the speed of which is to be measured. The output voltage of the tacho generator is proportional to the angular velocity of the shaft. So the voltage that we'll be measuring over here will be proportional to the shaft speed, the speed with which the shaft is rotating. The polarity of the output voltage depends on the direction of the rotation of the shaft. So this is one thing which is important in case of DC tacho generator. The sign of the voltage which is being measured indicates the direction of movement of its shaft. So suppose that if the shaft rotating at clockwise will indicate positive voltage. If the shaft is being rotated anti-clockwise, in that case the voltmeter will indicate a negative voltage. So sign of or the polarities of the voltages values will indicate the direction of rotation of the shaft. And now the dynamics of DC tacho generator can be written as the voltage which is being measured will be equal to Kt, where Kt is some constant, and d by dt of theta t is the angular velocity, or it can be written as that voltage which is being measured by voltmeter is nothing but Kt times omega, where omega is the angular velocity with which the shaft rotates. So this Et is indicative or is the value that you will be measuring. Now if we talk about AC tacho generator, so it comprises of two stator windings. They are arranged in a space quadrature similar to two-phase induction motor. So this is what we studied just yesterday. The excitation winding or the reference winding is energized with AC supply, while the other output winding is used to measure voltages. So this is the difference from the two-phase induction motor or AC servo motors, that because you're not going to use this device as a motor, rather as a generator or as a measuring device. So now you're not going to give any supply to the output winding, rather you are going to take voltage or you're going to measure voltages from the output winding by exciting the reference winding and providing angular movement or angular rotation as input to the shaft of the rotor. In that case, what you're going to get at the output winding is voltages, induced voltages. So when rotor is stationary, no voltage induces in the output winding, and as soon as you connect the rotor to a rotating shaft, the voltage induces, and this voltage will be proportional to the speed of rotation of the rotor. And moreover, if there is a change in the direction of rotation of the shaft, so this will cause a shift in the phases of the output voltage by 180 degree. So for suppose if the shaft was rotating clockwise, in that case whatever voltage waveform you got, next time if you're going to rotate the shaft anti-clockwise, in that case the waveform that you obtained previously will be shifted 180 degree, or in other words that will be inverted upside down. So the benefit of AC tacho generator is that you don't have commutator and brush assemblies, and thus no contact will exist, similar to DC tacho generator. So in case of DC tacho generator, you have commutator brush assembly, and there are contacts which will cause losses and problems later on. Some mechanical problem may occur in later stages. So this can be eliminated if in case of AC tacho generator, because it avoids the use of commutator and brush assembly. So this is a benefit of AC tacho generator over DC one. But DC also has some benefit that you can use this for measuring very small speeds of rotation. So by employing a 30 voltmeter at the output windings, you can measure very small speed using DC tacho generator. So this was all about tacho generator. And there was one example left out to explain yesterday related to synchro. So shown over here is an arrangement in order to control a camera. By this camera is very large size. So camera is written here. This could be something else which required to be controlled. The angle of rotation of this camera or this device is required to be changed by changing the orientation of spotting scope. So this is the scope where the user will be controlling theta r manually. So let's say somebody is taking is seeing through this spotting scope and allows this scope to rotate by an angle theta r. So let's say he wanted to see something on the left side, he wanted to capture something on the left side. When he rotated this spotting scope anti-clockwise at the left side, so this will cause the rotor of the transmitter to rotate anti-clockwise. So in case if this rotor is rotated anti-clockwise, and since the AC supply is given to it, this will cause the flux pattern in the air gap to change, which in turn will change the voltages that are being induced in the stator of the transmitter. So the same voltages are being supplied to the stator of the receiver, and the corresponding change in the flux will be observed in the air gap of the receiver. So this changes in the flux pattern will cause EMF to induce differently at different orientations of the rotor of receiver. So if suppose that the receiver rotor has a different orientation from the rotor of the transmitter, and this is going to happen when you're going to change the orientation of spotting scope. So as soon as you change the spotting scope orientation, you will have a change in the or difference in the angle of both the rotors of transmitter and receiver. In that case, an EMF will be induced in the rotor of the transmitter, which will be fed to an amplifier amplified by a constant Ka. So EC will be Ka times E. This is the amplified voltage fed to the servo motor. So the two-phase induction motor with slight modifications. So when this voltage is being fed to the control winding of the servo motor, will cause the rotor of servo motor to rotate the gears. So here is an arrangement of gear. This gear comprises of N1 teeth. This must be having N2, so this, which was missed, I think. So the gear is being operated by the rotor of the servo motor, and this gear connected to camera will be made to move in such a manner. So the camera orientation will change in such a manner that it will. So you have a connection again here, the gear connected to the rotor of receiver. So when the camera will rotate or it change its orientation, will cause the change in orientation of the rotor of receiver in such a manner that it will align its angle exactly similar to the rotor of transmitter. So once it gets aligned very exactly to the transmitter rotor, the orientation becomes same. In that case, the output voltage from the rotor of receiver will become 0. And when this becomes 0, this will turn 0. No movement will in the rotor of the servo will be observed, and hence camera will stop. Once again, if the spotting scope is further moved by a certain angle, in that case orientation will change, and then again an EMF will be existing or induced. This EMF will be fed to the servo, causing the orientation of camera again to change. So this is how you are going to employ synchros for detecting or change for making the use of error or the difference between the reference and the actual output to produce some processes in the plant. So this is all about the unit 1. If you have any questions related to this unit, you can ask me now or later on, and in the next class we'll try to start unit 2.